Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of EggWars. Glad to see you. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you have had a great weekend. Glad to see you here on this fine Monday. You know, in just 2 days from now, I'm going to be having to get my oral surgery, and that's going to suck. I don't really have anything lined up. If I'm going to be off for a few days, I really don't have anything lined up yet as far as uploads. So I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I might just be off for a couple days, but hey, you know what? Maybe some people need to catch up on Egg Wars. Maybe it won't be the worst thing. You know, maybe it'll give me a couple days to drum up some more interesting stories, so I'm not always stretching it so thin. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I recover. We'll make sure, hopefully I won't have any nerve damage in my mouth. Hopefully it just heals well and everything's going good. Everything's going swell. Now, today, we're breaking out, I got 6 different sips. I got white, blue, black, red, purple, and orange on the sips. Today, we're going to be starting off with the orange sip. And I've had this before, but I haven't had it in a long time, so I don't really recall the flavor. I think it's kind of got like an orange juice sort of flavor, if I remember right, but we'll see about that. But I do just want to mention, before we get into the sip and the story, our comment picker from last video, we have Smith Wesson with the comment LOLOLOLO okay LLOLOLOLOP at 35 minutes and 38 seconds made me laugh. So Smith Wesson, hit me up with that Steam info. I'm pretty sure I haven't given you a copy yet of Neckbeards as far as I'm aware, but everybody else, keep dropping those comments and we'll keep on rolling every day trying to get you that copy. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and crack this sip. Let's see if my memory served itself correctly. Okay. That's not like orange juice. That's like orange soda, but that's kind of like how the purple monster kind of tastes like grape soda. So damn, that's actually quite good. That's actually I didn't realize it was good like that. It's a good flavor. I like that. Alright, now, before I get into the story today, I think I'm okay to tell this story because I don't think that this chick follows me at all anymore as far as I'm aware. I haven't heard from her in so long. But before we hop into the story today, I'll just put this out there. It might get a little bit graphic. I'm going to try and keep it from being too graphic, but this story does contain some graphic elements. It may not be safe for work. Viewer discretion is advised. But, it's kind of similar to the heroin story. It's just a fucking real shit that happened. It's some real shit that happened. And I'm going to talk about it. I know it's a good lesson, I think, even though that I still maybe haven't learned, I didn't maybe learn from this lesson the way I should have since, what I got into later on. But it's kind of, it's the first time I've ever really told this story, so it's going to be, it's going to be a little much today. Maybe let's just get into it and we're going to see how it goes. So, this is going to be the story of the first chick who I ever was intimate with from 4chan. So let's do it. There's nothing to it but to do it. Let's get into this story. I might be like I said, I might choke up a couple times on this, but let's go. All right. So the year was 2014. Now, I had been, I'd done the name fag stuff for a while back when I was David Cameron Jr. And, but this actually took place, excuse me. This actually took place, I believe after I had adopted the Eggman, wow, that's hitting, the Eggman moniker. And at the time, really through my full year of Eggman-ness on 4chan, when I was really going hard every single day, just Eggmanning it up, I was really deep into some Skype groups. I was really deep into some tiny chat groups, but there was a Skype group I was in. Actually, my Skype, I haven't even logged into Skype since last year now because my Skype became so horrible. It's just so, even after I deleted I cleaned up my Skype account, but it was still so unusable because I had these people from 4chan who I still had as friends on Skype, and they would just repeatedly add me to these group chats over and over and over again. I mean, I remember at one point I couldn't even log into my Skype on my laptop anyway. I had to log onto my desktop because that's how much processing power I required to have to open like the 500 group chats I would be getting added to, just so I could try and leave them, and then people would try to re-add me. Oh, why'd you leave, dude? We want to talk and we want to know what da-da-da. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. Sorry. I'm already kind of an antisocial person. If you know about me, I've been doing my Twitter thing lately, but otherwise, I've never been good about maintaining. I had a 8chan board at one time that just devolved into horrible shit because I never maintained it properly. I had a Discord that devolved into a bunch of people just kind of hating me, and they kind of split off into like 5 other separate Discords because I couldn't keep a handle on it. We'd ban somebody for, getting, you couldn't have, if I had like any kind of opinion about something or tried to ban somebody or whatever it was, then like they would come back with 3 more accounts and be like, oh, you're blah, 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 whatever. It's my personal vendetta against you now. And it would just go, it was just too much. I just didn't want to, I'm not good with handling shit. I would never have a Reddit. I'm sorry, I just don't do that sort of thing because it's hard for me to maintain these things. But anyways, so it was 2014, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was actually November of 2014, and I was added to some Skype group where it was like, this is the cool 4chan group, this is where all the cool 4chan people go, and there was this chick on there that, on there, I believe she went by the name of Eve, if I recall correctly. I never really knew, I still know what her real name is, and I knew what her, like, some of her aliases were, but I believe that's what she went by, on this group, or just her, like, her 4chan circles, her 4chan notoriety, whatever, she went by the name of Eve. And so I got added to this group, and everyone's, it's all 4chan stuff, but if I hope you've never had to be in part of any kind of, like, it's different if you're like in a 4chan Steam video game group or something like that. That might not even be great either, but it's not so much as where it's like, this like 4chan inner circle where everybody is notorious. There's all these notorious people who are all whatever. So I get added into this group, and they're like, oh, it's the R9K guy, the angry woman hater guy. All he does is post about how he hates women all day, and he's a fucking ugly fat loser, and he hates women all day, and oh my god, why would you even invite this fucking loser? But I was in there anyway, so I'm chilling in there, whatever, and there was a few Skype groups that I would, conversate amongst, and I wasn't really liked by any of them, and quite fairly, like I said in my other video, I was, a lot of people who, only knew about me from my posting, I was a very abrasive, very angry, very, just continuously, I'd go on there just to fucking wild out, I'd hold in the feelings all day that I had of, like, my anger against society and women and relationships and all this stuff, and I would go on there and just be like, I'm just fucking going crazy, I'm just fucking raging and fucking pissed off, fuck, That's just how it was, and so, a lot of these people, like I said, rightfully thought I was a piece of shit, but, in any case, I can't exactly recall how the whole conversation came about, but basically I went on, typical shit, and I was like, women, you fucking goddamn stupid women, I'm so fucking sick of your bullshit. Why are you even on here? You could get any guy, attention. Maybe maybe he's not gonna marry you, maybe he's just gonna dick you down, but like I said, in the Fembot Myth video, I know girls who, fucking weigh like 300 pounds and have had vehicles bought in cash for them, houses bought for them, all this different stuff. It's like, why you goddamn fucking stupid whores even here? Get the fuck out, you stupid goddamn fucking whores. I'm sick of your bullshit. And this chick, she was like, Eggman, you are a fucking loser, but I would have sex with you. And I'm like, well. I'm like, well, put your money where your mouth is, bitch. You want it? Come get it. Let's do this shit. Once again, this sounds fucking insane. I mean, and it was insane. And I likely should never have done this, but like I said, at this time, I had my tax refund of like $2,000-$3,000 or whatever that I'd gotten from that year, and I had never even looked at it, like all I did, I never spent any money. I just fucking, paid my bills and torrented games and anime, and that's all I did. So I was like, well, let's see here. Okay. Well, then, she was like, she fucking like adds me on like more personal social media on like Snapchat and stuff, and we're talking back and forth, and she's like sending me, I don't think she ever sent me like any actual nudes. or anything like that, but she kind of just would like send me these like messages, these whatever messages, and finally, however it all came about, through our spontaneous messaging. She was just kind of a very loose, like, haha, I'm a shit poster. I'm like, I don't take anything serious. I'm all ironic about everything, but this was not ironic. This came to be, it all eventually materialized, and I went to work and I said, all right, I want to I took a whole entire week off of work, and I said, I'm going to go down and I'm going on a trip, whatever. I had never, I hardly even drove anywhere, at this point, because once again, like, I never had anything to do, anywhere to go, anybody to see, anybody to talk to, so it was like, what was the fucking point? So this is the first time I'd ever flown by myself. This was the first time anything where I'd traveled by myself. But I just thought I wanted to be the coolest dude ever, so I put in my whole week off. I could have done it, gone in one day and been back, but this is what I did. I put a whole weekend off of work. I got a nice hotel for a whole week. I got a rental car for a whole week. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go down there, and I'm really being an adult now. I'm really gonna do an adult thing for the first time in my life. I'm really gonna go on, this is how it's gonna be. Holy shit, this is so wild, this is so crazy. I'm living on the edge, whoa. Because actually, I believe I had been, this isn't even like a story for me, but I had been like suicidal like the month before. I think me and this whole plan had materialized. So I was like, oh, what's the fucking point? I'm working a fucking shitty wage cuck job that's going nowhere. I'm an ugly, hideous freak that's been rejected by hundreds of women, and I'm never gonna be, I'm never gonna go anywhere in life. I'm a fucking loser. And so when this opportunity presented itself, I'm like, all right, well, here's my chance to maybe have some pleasure in my life, so fuck it, I don't even care, Once again, like when I did the heroin, oh, well, fuck it, I don't even care, Or when, what else? What was the other story the other day? The road trip, oh, I don't even care. Toronto, oh, I don't even care, whatever. I'm just like, I'm fucking, I'm not a good judge of anything, I honestly am a fucking wacko, you know what I mean? I'm cuckoo. But it all went down. I got my mom or whatever to drive me to the airport, and I get in, and I fly near, I think I flew in near where this chick lived, but I get my rental car, it was a pretty decent vehicle. I'm feeling like $1 million. I'm like, I'm on my phone, I'm like, yo, just dropped in, babe, I'm about to pull up, yo, and she gives me the address, I pull up, and I pick this chick up. Now, it's kind of weird looking back on it, because a lot of people would say this chick was not attractive. She had very masculine features in a way. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Like I said, this might choke me up a little bit. This is first time I'm ever talking about this. This is the fucking director's cut, the fucking unrated. So I pull up, and she gets in the vehicle. Definitely looks not quite like her pictures. She definitely had a little bit more of a manly look going on, but she was pretty chill. She was a smoker, so. But the thing also was, I can't remember exactly if it was the first night or if it was a subsequent night, but the traffic was terrible, and she did not trust me to drive with the appropriate gusto to navigate these roads that were so hazardous and so dangerous. So she actually drove my rental car, which thankfully nothing bad ever happened. Actually, no, wait a minute, no. That was the rental car I think I almost blew a tire out on, but this was later on in the story. But anyway, so she was driving my rental car some amount of times, so that was kind of wild. But in any case, the first night, I've done this a few times, and I don't know why, where like I'll book a hotel, but I'll have it so like I don't check in the first. I don't know if I feel like I'm gonna go drive around and check stuff out and just not sleep or anything the first night. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I've done it more than once. But anyways, so I actually had one hotel for the first night, and the other hotel was for all the rest of the night. So we go check in at this hotel. And we get out of my rental car, and we're smoking cigarettes, and we go into this hotel, and she was like, I'll never forget this, she was like going in past the hotel staff, and she was like, oh, they're gonna think I'm a hooker, and I was like, haha, I hadn't even had like any contact with a female at this point for over 4 years. My story I did where, how the egg got laid 18 plus, that took place in the summer of 2010. This was, pretty much winter of 2014. And there was like no female interaction in between these. So, we get into this hotel room. It was a pretty nice little, kind of extended stay type place. It was comfy. I think we had 2 beds. But whatever the case, all I remember is we go in there and we're watching like a show or something like that. And I don't remember how it all got initiated or any shit like that. But basically, we got to fucking pretty quick. And however, this was a bit of a foreshadowing. We were getting busy, and I just had this, I was just feeling very, anxious. I had a lot of anxiety about it. I just, it was basically just, boom, started going on, and I was just really I could feel it in my body, it was like, I was feeling like hyper aware of everything, like I was really anxious about the whole situation, I don't know. But in any case, It basically just kind of went on, and it never really went anywhere. Like, it was kind of, I don't know, like, I guess that's the best way to put it. It didn't have a finish, let's just say that much. It just kind of, it kind of didn't go anywhere. And she was kind of, like, a little bit worried about me at first, and I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm just, I'm tired from the flight. Okay. So that was that. I think, we slept. I can't remember if I took her back to her house that night or not. I feel like I might have. But in any case, whatever the case was, I want to say I did do that. I want to say I ended up like either that or I brought her back early in the morning. I think she had to work the next day. But in any case, so I went and dropped her back off whenever I did. And, I'm feeling kind of, I'm feeling good on one hand because I'm like, oh shit, my insecurities and anger that I've had about this whole thing, it's kind of alleviated. I'm feeling like I'm an attractive guy again. I'm driving around, checking out these different shops, and I think maybe it must have been maybe one of these couple days, because I obviously went and checked into my hotel this next day, but there was some day I went and I took some corner too sharp and I fucking scratched like the side of my tire on a tight, entrance somewhere or whatever, and I was so worried because you could just see like the fucking scratch. It was really bad, and I was like, oh god. I'm gonna get fucking charged for this. I'm gonna have to pay like $1,000 for damages or something. Oh my god, I didn't buy the insurance. But nothing ever came of it, so that's good. But I was going around having a good time, checking shit out, and I went and checked into my hotel after I went to shop at the World Market while this chick was working. And then that was when I made the video about Egg Motivation 2015 or whatever, or Egg Life. That's on the last channel still, and I made that video while I was at this hotel that I was staying at while, in this whole different state, whole different everything for the first time ever in my life, and the whole fucking reason I was there was basically to drill some fat internet chick. But, I can't remember, because I was there for a week, and to be honest, I know I remember, like, the day. I'm trying to remember to piece all these days together because there was some bullshit that happened, but there was maybe it was like we met the first night, then the next day I did whatever, then maybe it must have been like the day after that, then we met back up again, and I actually hung out with her and one of her friends who was a guy, and we went out and got something for lunch I think that day, but she ended up coming back to my hotel again at this new hotel. And she was just, it was a really awkward situation. Like, that's the best way I can put it. I don't know, like she was just kind of like, hey, you're here, what's up? She kind of was like looking for to be like entertained or kind of, for me to do something that was interesting. And it wasn't really going on. So we spent like a good part of our time just laying in bed, in the hotel bed, and watching motherfucking E! Entertainment, which is garbage. I can't believe she even watched that shit, but she was like into like the Kardashians and all this crap. I'm like, gross, that's disgusting. But we're chilling there, we're hanging out. And, like, she was not shy, like, she was a pretty masculine woman, so she wasn't shy about saying like, hey, you're being boring or you're, whatever. So she kind of was like, had a mood, had kind of an attitude. So, we ended up, that night, we ended up banging again. I remember that much. And this time it went more smoothly, and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is chill. This is pretty legit. But then I believe it was the next day that things started to go downhill and down in some other ways. Because basically, I guess I guess I must have been doing something right because like the next day comes around, we kind of showered. I don't think we, I kind of was like thinking maybe we'd go out and about, and she wasn't really feeling that. Like she had the day off of work, and she asked me to give her like a back rub, so I was spent like an hour fucking giving her a back rub and like a massage and all this stuff, which I didn't really get anything in return, by the way. But I'm doing that, and basically we kind of start getting close again, and it's basically about to be time for round 3, and we're getting to it, and I get that hit of the nerves again, that anxiety again, and I basically just I don't know, it's weird. Like my body just kind of it's like I'm in a fucking state of shock almost. It's really weird. And she's getting all on me, and she's like, noticing that I'm not standing at attention. I'm not standing to perform, so to speak. And she's kind of trying to like hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Whatever. I'm like, no, I got this. I'm fucking, I'm getting up. I'm doing jumping jacks. I'm fucking doing sit-ups and stuff. I'm like, all right, just gotta get the blood flowing a little bit. I just gotta, I gotta get going a little bit here. And then she's just giving me this look like I'm a fucking total dweeb, total dork, and she's like, oh my God, like, well, I guess I see how it is. She ended up going that night then. She's like, we talked about maybe having a couple drinks or something. So she was like, well, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to grab a couple things. I'm like, okay. So she goes, and I don't know, I can't remember. I was tired for some reason. Like I just had this feeling, going on for some reason where I had, it was kind of like a downward surge of emotion where I was just like feeling really shitty. And it kind of dropped me down enough where I accidentally like just kind of fell asleep. To be honest, like I'm just kind of laying there and I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm like fuck, I'm there. I'm probably just like laying in my underwear or whatever, and I'm just like, oh God, what the fuck am I doing? I'm so embarrassed, whatever. And somehow I just kind of like nodded off for like 30, 40 minutes. So I wake up and from like this 30, 40 minutes, whatever, I'm like, oh shit, okay, she's not back yet. But I look at my phone. And she had been back, but she didn't have a hotel key card with her or whatever. And so basically she had sent me a couple messages, and she's like, oh, I tried to get back in. I knocked at the door, and you aren't here, I guess. So I'm just, I got my friend. They're going to give me a ride over, and, we're going to be done here. Okay, see ya. And I'm like, no. I'm like, baby, no, please forgive me. It wasn't like that. I don't know what I did. I don't know why I passed out. I was feeling weird, and I felt nerves, and I felt down, and I'm just like, oh shit, please just, I'll come get you. I'll come bring you back to the hotel. Remember, we're gonna have drinks. Remember, it's gonna be fun. We're here for a fun time. And she's like, doesn't respond at all. And she didn't respond for like 2 days. And so for these 2 days, I'm like, okay. I felt like shit because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I was expecting. I was just all over the place emotionally. Like, this was definitely not a good idea, and nobody should ever do any shit like this. But in my mind, I was like, oh, we're gonna meet up in a different state, and we're gonna fuck, and then we're gonna be in love with each other, and it's gonna be this beautiful, loving thing, and it was never gonna be that, It was only gonna be, she basically, like, I was her fucking booty call. And, once I was done, so she basically, I guess in her mind, she was like, well, you're being a fucking limp dick, can't fuck loser. So now you're like asleep, so fuck you then. And she basically just goes and does whatever. And so I spent the next couple days, I was going around, I was spending times at parks, I'm trying to, I'm out taking pictures, and just trying to get the most out of my time down there. I'm trying to not have it be around this chick, even though that was totally what it was all about. And I'm like, oh God, I just like, as I'm going, I'm having, I'm like out taking pictures and stuff, and I'm seeing different sites, and I'm going back to the hotel room every night and just fucking crying like a little bitch. Cause I'm like, oh my God, I ruined it all. I fucking destroyed it all. I'm a fucking idiot. I did everything wrong. But, then after a couple days, she didn't respond to me for a couple days. And I'm like, oh fuck it, it's all over. It's all finished. It's all, I've made a terrible mistake. But she hits me back up and she's like, oh hey, I'm gonna go see some of my friends tonight, if you're interested or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit, for real? So I'm like, I immediately I'm like super like, oh, good, yes. But I'm trying to still play kind of cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been having a good time. I've been kind of just out seeing stuff. But yeah, if you're gonna be doing that, sure, yeah. I guess I'm down here for a fun time, not a long time. So yeah, okay. So we go to some like older lady's house. And it's weird because I don't really, I still to this day, I don't really understand the relationship that was going on there, because there was this older lady who was maybe like late 30s, early 40s or something like that. Let's just say like early 40s. She owned this house, and there was just like a bunch of like people there who were like early 20s, maybe mid 20s. Like there was a girl and a guy there who had a kid, and these were all kind of like redneck kind of people. So I actually kind of felt at home. When I was with these people, that was probably the most comfortable that I was for this entire excursion, because, I was there with the chick, but, it was like, I'm talking to like these redneck dudes, they're talking about trucks, they're smoking cigarettes, they're drinking, cheap beer. I'm like, these are my people. This is what I understand. This is kind of where I come from. It's a different area from where I grew up, but it's similar in that way. So that was kind of comfortable. That was kind of chill. And, so then we, after we kind of hung out with these people and kind of shot the shit a little bit, we came, we went our separate ways again that night, but I was feeling a little bit better. I wasn't feeling like a little bitch. I was like, okay, it isn't a total loss. There's, maybe we could still salvage this. And then the next day then, she worked at, I guess, I don't know. I might be giving out too much information. All right, I don't expect anybody to know who I'm talking about. I don't expect her to still be following anything I do. It's been years, but let's just say I guess I don't need to talk about that particular part, because that might be a little too much information. Anyway, the next day after she was off of work, let's say that much. So she was off of work, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to go do dinner?" Or maybe I mentioned it, or somehow it came up that we're gonna go do dinner. We're gonna go off to this place to do dinner. It was at a restaurant I'd never eaten at before. It was like some Asian food, but it was like a different kind of Asian food that I was totally unfamiliar with. So we went there, and we had this food, and it was pretty good, and it wasn't super awkward. Like, she, once again, like, her whole thing was, I honestly feel kind of bad. Of all the chicks who I've known, especially, like, I don't know if it's because it's, like, it's sentimental to me in a way, because this was, like, maybe I'd been so many years without female contact, and then there was this chick, and it was just kind of a situation. I don't know. I still feel kind of certain ways about this. She was a very casual, very personable, sociable person. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not sure how to express it. Like I said, she was kind of masculine in the way that she really didn't give any fucks about things. She really didn't care about things. But like it was just kind of a cool way. She was just kind of a cool chick. And so we were at this restaurant, and she's talking to like some of the wait staff and stuff, and it was just a good, enjoyable time. And we left there, and then went to like a couple different stores. I think went to some thrift shopping. And I actually still have, I gave it to my brother now though. There was a bag that I bought at Ross, of all places. This was in 2014, so this was no fucking, Boston Ross meme. I bought this bag from Ross that my brother now uses as a gym bag, because I gave it to him for that purpose. But at the time, I can't remember why exactly, but if I like bought some clothes while I was there, it's hard for me to recall now at this point, but I bought this extra bag from Ross to like, so I had like, it was like I had my checked bag, and this was like my carry-on bag then. So we did some shopping, and it's still the only time I've ever shopped at Ross, by the way. They don't have them anywhere that I've lived since then that I can recall, or at least I haven't seen them. But then when I'm trying to remember, because we did that, and then I think she went and basically went our separate ways again. I think she went somewhere else, and then I made a video while I was in the parking lot by the Ross, which is also on the First Last channel. I think it's called Trip Recap, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even remember what the hell I talked about in that video. I don't think it was much of anything important or anything interesting, but that was a video that I filmed while I was still, out of state on this particular excursion. But, nothing else really of note happened beyond that. She didn't respond to me again. My messages after that, I went and I flew back home, and I sent her a message. I'm like, okay, I landed safe. And I never heard from her again. But then, there was rumors, on 4chan. I remember at a point, this was the last I've ever heard of her, this chick. There was rumors on 4chan that me and her had sex, which she vehemently denied. And I also denied them, because I didn't want people to know that, basically, she basically clowned me for being a fucking, anxious, nervous, limp dick dweeb. So I just kind of went with it, but then she ended up like going into this like cuckoo mode where she posted all these naked pictures of herself. And then the fucking craziest thing, the chick who first got me into the fucking, who first brought me into like the public 4chan light as David Cameron Jr., this chick who went by the name of B, who I'd gone on a date with in 2014, in spring of 2014, and she called me an ugly loser and da-da-da, whatever, which then spurred me to start posting these pictures of myself, and it basically was the fucking full snowball of everything that's come since. These two chicks were living together somewhere, and I remember them posting a picture somewhere and them being like, Eggman is a fucking autistic loser, he's the biggest fucking retard we've ever seen, ha ha ha, he's a fucking loser. So I don't know, maybe they're still living somewhere together, maybe I don't know what the fuck they're doing, I don't really care at this point, to be honest, I'm past it, it's years ago now at this point, which is why it's still, this is really the first time I've ever talked about it like this, maybe a little bit on a stream before, if it came up in some weird way, but, I don't know, man. I've had some really fucking weird experiences that I'm still not even comfortable with talking about yet, because I obviously, there's a lot of shit I could talk about with my ex-girlfriend, but I just can't because, as far as I know, she still watches all my shit like a hawk. She still has this gag order against me where I can't talk about some of the fucking insane shit that happened between us. But maybe someday, maybe she'll, forget about me someday and I can tell all you guys that'd be some wild stuff. And then there's also this schizo chick from 2015. And, oh man, that was insanity. But, as far as I know, she still, I think, is also kind of trailing me in a way, still kind of, fucking scoping me out to, I don't know. There's some people who I've ran in with while doing this shit that has been, not in my best interest, I'm sure. But also, I guess, one other last part is that she had some guy, because I was still on Skype at the time, and she created some new Skype account, and she messaged me and said that I was a loser or whatever, and I was like, I don't care, and then she was like, oh, I'm just kidding, I just wanted to talk to you, but then we never talked, and she had some guy on YouTube, who I don't even remember anything about this guy, but she basically had some guy on YouTube make a video where he said I was a loser, and, he was gonna beat my ass and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't care, all these people, I don't know anything about, if these people are still around anywhere, they probably don't know me, I probably don't know them anymore, I'm sure all this shit's just gone all different kinds of different type of ways, but that's pretty much the story, the TLDR of it is pretty much, some chick off 4chan said I'm gonna fuck you, so I just immediately pulled up on her front doorstep and fucked her. And basically I couldn't perform. I was a limp dick, fucking dweeb, and, she laughed at me and, and then I got fucking butthurt. So really you would think that this whole situation would have, for people who, with everything that came after that, people would be like, how did you ever feel these type of ways? How could that ever have been a real kind of feeling you were having if you're out here and getting some? But it wasn't, I didn't see it that way. The way I saw it was like, sure, maybe I was like, I could be a booty call, but I wasn't good enough, to be a boyfriend long term. I wasn't good enough to be a husband. I wasn't good, and I still kind of feel that way, honestly. I feel kind of, when I look back at some of this shit, it kind of makes me feel like more of an empty person. Because I hate that I have these blemishes in my past. That's the way I see it. I don't see it in any kind of way where it's like, oh man, I got some pussy. That's so cool, man. I fucking banged some pussy. I'm so cool. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, I basically, I struck out there, and I struck out here, and I struck out there, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man, it does not make me feel good. It does not make me feel like a better person to have done some shit like that, honestly, that's some loser type stuff. That's just how I feel about it, I feel like a winner is somebody who's in, a minimal amount of relationships, and for very long term, and very committed, and, is a husband and a father, and, and all that stuff. That's how I feel. Oh, Christ. Well, that was a lot to get off my chest, but there we have it. It's all public record now. It's all out there now. But in any case, I guess that will wrap it up for today's episode of EggWars. So that one, I feel like it was a little more disjointed than usual, but it's not something that I've thought about a lot. I really haven't tried to think about it a whole lot since it happened, so it's not something I've had rehearsed in the mind frame. But in any case, my friends, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Egg Wars. I appreciate that all very, very much. I do hope to get another episode out tomorrow, but we might be having a little bit of a hiatus. Like I said, if I don't have anything on the agenda while I'm up, laid up recovering from my surgery, we'll see how it goes. But until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll catch you later.
Sounds from the void.